A movie that is honestly quite a disaster, and yet I'm really grateful it exists.
It's a great movie.
Exactly.
Hello and welcome to the Talkies, where three filmmakers talk about movies. And I'm Kenny.
I'm Dee.
I'm Taylor.
And today we are talking about Megalopolis, a bad movie that we want more of. But before we get into that, we'd love to invite you to join us over at Patreon. We have a new Patreon exclusive up now. In honor of Mr. Coppola.
What?
There we will be covering Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Hell yeah.
And we have, Eggers' Dracula movie. Nosferatu coming out later this year.
So that'll be a good prequel.
It'll be a good primer for that as well.
Cool.
So
let's get these freaking drinks open, my guy.
I'm so thirsty.
What are you doing, Taylor? No, that's the editing. Taylor, no, the editing.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Ah, yeah. Hey. So looks like we're here.
This is awkward.
So I hate to break it to you guys, but we saw Megalopolis.
Oh.
No!
Jeez, we saw that?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Man, I was very hyped for this.
I was very hyped for this.
Yeah, I've been following this movie this whole time.
Yeah, since 1980.
Since 1980 something.
Jeez, has it really been that long for him?
It has, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. All jokes aside.
Let's put all of our jokes aside.
Thank you.
It's going to be very serious from here on
Very,
out.
very serious. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you buy it? He's been kind of going around talking up like this is everything he wanted it to be. That it's exactly what he
Yeah, he gave it
intended.
5 stars on
He gave it 5 stars. That's
on
true.
Letterboxd. Yeah.
So, do you buy it? Do you think this is his actual intent?
Oh! I got an answer for this.
All right.
Yeah, he is a megalomaniac.
Yeah.
He is Caesar Catalina. He's playing the part.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, meta.
Yeah. See, he's method acting his movie actor.
Uh huh. Maybe we shouldn't have any jokes left aside.
Sorry, I forgot to put that one aside.
To answer your question,
Thank you. What the hell?
I do
Yeah,
think so.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
Because to me, if there's anything that I can step away from this movie and say, God damn, that's cool, it's just that he did it the way he did it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't know if I love that or hate that.
Yeah. I love it because it was so indie in the biggest way.
Yeah.
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 So I don't think a movie like this has ever been made because I know the prequel trilogy was funded largely by Lucas.
Yeah.
But the difference there is he definitely had distributors.
He had no
who were,
concern about
funding marketing,
people showing up to see this movie.
sponsor
Right.
deals, that
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah, everything was empty theaters this time.
Yeah, literally empty theaters, and I don't think a movie has been made on this scale where he also paid for the marketing himself, and pretty much hired
Didn't
the
pay
VFX
enough.
companies
No, he
himself.
didn't, yeah.
Really managed the whole movie himself.
Pretty insane.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome that he's able to do so. Like,
Oh, it's totally cool.
Like he has-
it's like a dream.
yeah. Like it was so cool to see in the production cards when they came up that it was just American Zoetrope.
Coppola.
Just
Right.
American Zoetrope.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
This movie was, it was amazing. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was impressive, surprising. It was forward thinking. It was dated.
It was backwards thinking.
It was
It also felt like it wasn't thought out.
no. It was
Forward thinking and non-thinking.
it was cringy and sincere, and it was beautiful and sometimes ugly. The scale was massive and sometimes felt small.
Right.
This was sincere is what I feel that this movie was, and that's all I really want to call it. I can't form really an opinion on the movie. It feels like a big movie that this person wanted to make. That's what
That
I feel.
is what it is.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's
What
exactly
what
it
I
feels
like, what I hope, and I haven't watched a ton of Coppola interviews about it, but what I hope is that here he is at this time of his life. He's like 90.
He's 85.
Okay, 85. I round up. He's 90.
He's a 90s kid.
And he's got nothing to prove at this point. I mean, he's a
Right.
He's a shoe-in for the Filmmaker Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
absolutely.
in if that were a thing, right? And so what I'm hoping is that this was one of those movies where it didn't really matter to him at all what kind of reception it gets, what the box office does.
Right.
That he's looking at the ability to open a toy box and play without any restraints and being like, fuck having producers
Yeah.
breathing down my throat and figuring, like, really nitpicking how I spend every dollar, and I'm just going to go play and make a movie that I feel like making.
Yeah.
And maybe even being aware that might not be the best way to make the best movie.
Yeah.
But just
Yeah.
having that experience of just unbridled artistic filmmaking fun is what I hope he has gotten out of this.
I hope so too. To answer your first question, I do think that he was sincere in thinking that this was like his opus, right? Like a grand gesture. I do believe that's where his mind was at. And I don't feel that
Sure.
when I watch it, but I do feel what you just said. It's
Yeah.
a toy box and it's what he wanted, right?
Yeah.
Is sincerity.
Well, the
is what
question
it
goes,
felt.
what's the gesture, right?
Yeah.
Is the gesture a statement being made by the actual movie? Because if it is,
Well, it's like it's a statement that Coppola is making through the movie almost directly. Like the whole movie, I think, is just his ramblings on the future of America and the downfall of a giant society that
Yeah.
is you could look at as an inevitability, and it's his like
Yeah.
stoned ramblings.
Yeah,
Except-
it does feel almost. It's so funny, dude.
rambling is not a statement.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. No, it
I'm
feels,
saying what the movie is.
So I had written before my thoughts on this movie, and one of them was when you were talking about it's a statement. I felt like everything in this movie was so clear cut and so very obvious, and yet was presented in this way that seemed like it was supposed to be openly interpretive. It seemed like it because there was a lot of scenes that were non sequiturs. It seemed like there were some character moments, but they were very small compared to the overall part of the movie, which seemed very, very, very obvious. Just we have archetypal characters that are just, or archetypal, that are just doing their arcs the way that they're supposed to do them. Like everyone could have seen where this movie was going to end from miles away, and yet it still feels empty, and that's what's weird.
Yeah, I think what's happening is, well, I don't know what the fuck is happening, but
Tell us what's happening.
but something I noticed is how I think he has so many ideas on his, just pontificating on society,
Yeah.
America, the downfall of Rome, and how that mirrors our current society
You're
or
saying
whatever.
This is just pontification. That's what this
Yeah,
movie is.
pretty much the whole movie is just him pontificating that. But I think he had maybe
Pontifilopolis.
20. He probably had 20 essays
Sure.
that were different, somewhat connected topics.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make a movie of that.
That's funny.
But the problem was, and he's like, yeah, and I'll do it in this huge scale. But I think when you're working in that kind of scale, you have to really pay attention to details. So it did have this big impression and these big ideas, but there was a lot of connecting details that were just absent. Like scenes don't really connect in any way. It doesn't come together in a big statement like we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's lacking details in, like, I feel like even production design. Like
Certainly.
some of the sets didn't, as cool as they are, didn't feel as detailed as you might have hoped.
Certainly.
Or like
Yeah.
sequences didn't really flow in any
Flow
kind
is
of
a
way.
great word
Yeah.
because I don't think it flowed at all.
Yeah,
This is the most bumpy ride.
Well,
of the
it
movie.
had
Yeah.
honestly, it did the thing I do in my documentaries, where
this narrative film.
yeah, where in you know, some there's some really gifted documentary filmmakers who make scenes that flow one into the other, like almost like a narrative film.
No.
And I'm always like so impressed by people who do that well. I don't, and so in my documentaries are more like almost episodic, right? Where it's like part one,
Oh, interesting.
this,
Yeah.
part two, this,
So
and
it's-
you know,
so it's a
give a
video-
name
a video
to a
essay.
chapter, right?
Yeah.
Now Tarantino does that in a lot of his movies,
Sure.
but it's like it's almost like kind of light, you know. It's not so much. Whereas in each of these transitions, they went to one of that Roman-looking title card, and you know Morpheus.
Oh, wow. I totally
came-
forgot they even had that.
Yeah, Morpheus came back in and
Morpheus.
gave a little sermon
Yeah.
leading into the next part of the movie, and it was like a hard break, almost like you're expecting to reboot into like a short film,
Right.
you know. So yeah, it broke the flow every time they
Yeah.
did that, especially.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting how everybody acted in the movie, like the performances.
Yeah,
They were all pretty good. I
they
thought,
were stagey though, but
well,
intentionally.
Intentionally, yeah. I thought Audrey Plaza was particularly good.
Aubrey.
Aubrey, my bad.
Yeah,
Aubrey Plaza.
She was awesome. Actually, I actually loved all the performances and the characters.
Aubrey Plaza, I thought was amazing.
I just never
Yeah.
felt like they told a story.
Well, what I thought was interesting about the performances is I felt like I could see when the actors didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Interesting.
You know, like
Interesting.
like we referenced right before we started
Yeah.
shooting this, we were talking about there's a scene in the movie where they're going up that elevator.
Yeah.
They're going up this. It was like a almost like a window cleaning elevator.
Yeah,
they were on
right.
the outside of a building.
External lift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these two characters, the Game of Thrones girl and someone else, were having a conversation, and it was like I could see her trying to just work with the direction she was given, but not really knowing where she is. Like it, I felt like she had no idea where she was or how it connected to anything else.
Yeah.
And she was just kind of rolling off of
What's her name? Nathalie?
isn't it? Yeah, it's like
Or Natalie?
Natalie or something.
Masandi.
Natalie.
Masandi?
That's her name.
Masandi.
That's her name in Game of Thrones.
I
Yeah.
felt particularly bad for some of the older actors like Dustin Hoffman. Like,
Wow.
there's
Yeah.
no way he knows what the hell's going on in this movie.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
So I felt the same
Well, neither
way.
did the audience. So
no, yeah, of course.
I felt the same way in a lot of the VFX shots.
Oh, yeah.
It was really strange how the first, I think the opening shot, I think it was what it was, is when we're going from, we're like introducing the world in like, what do you call it? What do you call those things?
Montage.
Yeah, it's a montage. I can't remember. Anyway, it's a montage of a bunch of all these little sequences, but a lot of them are happening in front of green screens, and I felt like the actors and the extras didn't know where they were supposed to be exactly on the set.
Uh-huh.
And that happened a lot, like you said with the lift.
Yeah.
that was super weird. Also, the VFX with the lift were really fucking
Bad.
weird. Yeah,
Frankly, it's probably because Coppola didn't know where to put him either.
that's what it felt like. I
Because-
felt like Coppola is a person who's not doing digital effects all the time, and this
Not
is
only
like,
not at all, he hasn't made a movie in like 15 years.
right, and so that's it felt like it showed
Yeah.
almost. You know, that also being said, the direction in here I thought was super strange because, like you said, Aubrey Plaza was great, but I think because she knew how her character fit in the world,
Yes.
whereas I don't know if Adam Driver knew.
Yeah, he felt like he was playing almost like three different characters
It was-
at the
yeah,
same time.
And then
and such a aloof character that
Yeah.
like you just didn't get to really access him at all.
well, and Lawrence Fishburne felt like he was in The Matrix. Like it literally felt like he was this
100%.
Yeah.
super serious
Yeah.
character. And I'm like, there's like some wacky things happening around
Yeah.
your character, and you're not responding to any of them. It's really weird.
it would be really easy to cut this movie in such a way that Aubrey Plaza is the main character of the movie,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
it would maybe make more sense actually.
Maybe.
Her performance was outshined everyone else in the movie, and I think it was because of what we were getting onto. She has a defined arc and motivation that I completely understand.
Well, you
Yeah.
know what's weird is that I thought, what's his name? Who I don't even know his character's name. Shia's
Shia's character.
character, yeah. I felt like he had very, very clear motivations, and yet I couldn't tell you what the story. Why he was in the story.
He felt a little awkward to me.
He did feel awkward.
Super,
Yeah.
but I almost thought we were supposed to feel awkward with him.
You know what's funny about how I read that performance?
Yeah.
In contrast to Aubrey
Aubrey.
Plaza,
Thank you.
is Aubrey Plaza was down with the weird because she's kind of into that kind of stuff.
Totally.
And she rose to the occasion, and she's like, I can go on a little direction because I have a strong character, and I can vibe with that. And Shia LaBeouf, as an actor, is kind of known for wanting to break stuff apart on set, rewrite the script on the day, and kind of be really hands-on.
He's an asshole.
And yeah, he's an asshole.
Okay.
That's known for sure. No, yeah, that's no question. There's a reason why he's not in a lot of movies anymore. But my point is, Shia LaBeouf thrives on causing conflict with his director and rebelling, and I think he finds some kind of motivation in his acting for that. And I think on this movie, he met his match to where Coppola is super down with that.
Oh yeah.
So Coppola was probably like, yeah, you want to do it that way? Yeah, you want to get shot in the ass? Yeah, man, let's do it. And it's almost like it kills his spirit.
I hope that's true.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's me reading into it.
That's funny. Yeah. His character, yeah, I love the way he played him, but I never fully understood
like
why he
Cicero?
was there. Cicero,
Yeah,
yeah.
like-
Yeah,
No,
Cicero.
Cicero's
That was the
mayor.
mayor. Yeah, that was
Okay.
yeah.
I don't remember.
Gus.
Whatever.
Anyway, something Roman.
Some Roman name.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, and Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Right. He also outshined people around him.
Yeah.
I agree that he did feel like Morpheus. It's true.
yeah.
He was kind of underutilized.
No,
very
that's
much, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why he felt weird, because I was like, oh, you must be important,
right.
and oh, you're not.
Oh, you're just a driver.
driving
and you
people
narrate?
around.
Right.
Okay.
Driver, pseudo bodyguard kind of
Yeah.
guy, and didn't really play into the story at all.
No, it felt like he was. I mean, I guess you could say he felt like the embodiment of the narrator.
Yeah.
You know, where he kind of oversees everything and is the god character, but he didn't play that,
Yeah.
like
No.
you said. Yeah.
And I would guarantee that Adam Driver performed the part exactly as he was directed to.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely, I would
100%.
agree
And
with that.
it was a waste of his talent.
Yeah.
I
It
think.
was,
It
yeah.
was an absolute
He did-
waste of it. It was one of the
did a
least
great
interesting
job, but-
performances I've ever seen of him,
So,
and
yeah.
he was definitely doing what he was meant to do.
100%. I agree. Yeah.
Funny, cool, full circle fact about Lawrence Fishburne in this movie
Oh,
is that Lawrence Fishburne's first movie was Apocalypse Now,
oh,
in which
Oh,
he
interesting.
lied about his age to get in the movie. He said he was 18, but he was like 16.
nice.
Wow.
Didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So that was his first movie, and now
He's
he's-
bookended his career.
And
He's
now-
got-
now
this is his last movie.
Now, everyone in this movie, they're done.
yeah, no one's touching. Now
Yeah.
they're toxic. Oh, you were in Megalopolis? Ooh. Shouldn't they're like scabs. They worked outside of the industry for that,
Right, yeah.
that independent operation. Dang.
I want to talk about scale, like literally.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's kind of weird in this.
I think scale as an effect that you achieve in cinema is an illusion, and it's not purchased with money.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? Napoleon has a massive scale. I think. I felt like
A
Napoleon
sense
was
of
huge.
scale when you're watching the movie, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how much it cost, but it looks gigantic. And I think it's because of how there's so many locations in that movie.
Yeah.
And even if you're in one area, you're still in like, God damn it, you're still in the inside of this room, the inside of that room, the outside of this building, right?
Uh-huh.
It's all the one building, but it's so many different locations. And then you have these big wide shots that they always have. But again, always different like little areas in that same location. And I think that creates this huge nature to it. And we talked about Dune Part 2, how that had a huge scale also.
Well, that was my direct comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that Megalopolis insists that it's big,
Right.
but it does it by buying extras and just fill the screen with extras and it'll feel big. But it never felt that big to me.
It
It
didn't.
looked like it. And I'm like, yeah, this is big. Like it's not. I'm not saying it was easy to make or it's small, but the sense of scale was never fully hit home to me.
Me
The
neither.
way that like Dune does.
Yeah.
Where Dune can make one shot in the desert feel massive.
Absolutely.
You know, and
Yeah.
that technically doesn't cost anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Dune's maybe an unfair comparison.
Well, yeah.
That might be one of the greatest accomplishments in sense of scale
It is.
in
yeah.
cinema
Well,
history.
But Apocalypse Now also.
But yeah, to be
has that.
fair, Coppola has his.
Yeah. What comes to mind for me is a movie like Alien and The Matrix, which take place in small spaces
Right.
and still make you feel like you live in an entire authentic universe.
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
And didn't take a ton of money.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's just complete consistency. Like
Yeah.
there's no gaps in this world building all around you.
And the cinematography, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
is a huge part of that. And like, Bill Pope, the way that he shoots both of the sequels, right, to the Matrix, Revolutions and Reloaded,
I think so.
they have some massive looking shots. Like the Revolutions is, as much as it's not that great of a movie, the third act looks huge. Like there was never
Right,
a
yeah.
time that I'm like, that's not Zion, that's a green screen. It looks
Yeah.
like a fucking city.
Yeah.
And Megalopolis kept feeling like they were small sets.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was on purpose or not. That's one of the things
I
that I
don't
kept coming
think
back.
that was on.
I don't think
purpose.
so
Oh, no?
either.
That's interesting.
Because I felt like it would have come through
Yeah.
somehow thematically if it was on purpose, you know?
Yeah, well, like some of the shots, like the steel beams that they were hanging from nowhere at the top.
Yeah.
Like that felt like an on purpose set design choice. And the part where Adam Driver is addressing the city, where he's standing on Megalon or whatever that material is, also felt small in the same kind of way. Maybe I don't know.
You said it perfectly right before we started rolling. You made a comparison to like a
play?
PS2.
To PS2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
A lot of
did.
it felt
Yeah.
it felt very like, I don't know, older video games.
It
And
did.
that's
No,
also
it did,
kind of what
yeah.
I mean by detail and
Yeah.
the lack of detail.
Sure.
Like when we're that high up and we see the whole city, that vista in the background looks kind of like the bare minimum
Right.
they would that a 3D artist might put together.
Right.
Like I feel
Yeah.
like our DAC 7G city was about on par,
You got to put a clip in.
I'll put a clip in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
and that was just D in his bed in the bedroom.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that the scene where they were on those suspended metal beams that
Yeah.
made no sense where they
Absolutely.
were.
Yeah.
Really bothered me when we were watching
Really?
it. Yeah.
Interesting.
That was where I first had the thought of I feel like we're looking at actors who are very aware of the green room they're standing inside of
Yeah.
and not pretending hard enough.
Well, to me, it felt like when I saw that scene, it brought me out so much that. But again, all the character acting was always that way. In fact, the opening sequence, not the opening one, the one where we see Adam Driver's character interact with Cicero for the first time. Caesar and Cicero.
Oh, the suspended walkways.
With the rafters.
That
and
was
stuff.
like where I still thought the movie was really cool.
Yeah, that was a turning point for me where I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so actually
And then
that's
it
where it
wasn't.
lost me, was there. I saw that as a small set, and I saw it as we're adapting a play is what it
Yeah.
felt like. And it always felt like that no matter what. And that's what kind of altered or skewed my view for the whole movie, was that I kept coming back to those parts where I'm like, oh, this is literally a play. Like when Caesar is tripping, right? And
Oh,
we have
yeah.
those moments where we cut back to him and he's just doing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Silly.
yeah, just mean like that stuff feels like a play's interpretation.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't feel like a filmmaker would do that.
Yeah, like you'd literally see an actor in the middle of the stage,
Right.
just mimicking that with some
Exactly.
Strobe lights going
flashing,
on.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and there was
Right.
like
Because
barely
you're
any
making a
VFX.
movie, you can actually do
Yeah, you don't
anything.
have to.
right?
Yeah,
You can do more than that.
But they also
you don't have to lead the audience's imagination.
yeah, and they also had like hands like behind them. I imagine those were other actors. I don't think they did digital effects behind them. Like it very much feels like it's a play. Like it's supposed to be pretend. Like the whole thing is
yeah,
pretend.
but then why not make the whole movie organic and have like set pieces
Right.
and props instead of all this,
I don't know.
you know?
Yeah, it's weird. Like there was some parts that felt that way more. Like the driving felt
Yeah.
fake, and I like that.
Right.
I like the statues that were like crying or
Yeah.
breaking
Oh, that
down.
was so
That was
cool.
Yeah.
That's where all the budget went, was
Yeah,
into
for-
those
yeah, those
statues.
shots.
Seriously.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I liked the what do you call it? The pop star, I forgot her name.
Oh, the Virgin,
Vesta.
the not Virgin.
The not virgin.
I was gonna say that you like. What
I
about, what
liked
about it you like?
Vesta's performance,
Uh-huh.
and I liked how they did. It was again a half pretend effects, half visual effects. You know, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really cool.
I
hated
loved
that
how-
sequence.
I loved how it meant so much to the story. You know?
no, yeah,
The-
like 50% of this was not story.
That
Yeah.
was when
Yeah.
I realized that this movie, well, that was when the movie really lost me, was when she's lifted down and she's playing, she does her whole music number with
Yeah.
the ukulele.
Yeah,
That was where it lost me.
like it lost me so much earlier.
Yeah, it's fun because you know how we've had this like conversation 100 times about how, sort of a more expressionist movie, the whole
Right.
0422 sort of thing,
Yeah.
right? And I found myself more on your side of that conversation
Of the grounded
with this
side.
movie because I was like, oh, I don't like what I just saw. Oh, but maybe that's okay because the rules of this world means he can freeze time. So maybe that's not uncanny what I just saw. And maybe that's symbolic, or no, is that real?
Yeah,
I can't. If I knew what was going on, I would know. Am I supposed to be reading into this like
Right.
something symbolic, or does that matter? Are you telling the story right now? And it frustrated me.
it was frustrating, I think, at first for me, but like when they got to the part where they were talking about his powers, like I just talk about his powers for a second, which are weird,
Yeah.
super strange. The point where they got to where Natalie says that he just needs to try harder or something like that, and that he still has them or whatever, and that it's like his powers are his art, or his expression, or his design, or his brain, or something. To me, that's where it went full into the 04 territory, right? Where it's just more. Actually, Screen Rant, I think, did an excellent job of analyzing it. They said that his power was a metaphor, and I really bought into that when I was watching the movie. And I never once thought his power was
Yeah.
affecting the people.
Yeah,
there.
no, I get
Yeah.
that. I guess what I'm saying is that this movie was so all over the place
Yeah.
with, being really on the nose and being metaphorical kind
Sure.
of juggled together.
Yeah, no, it was both.
That
It was
I'm
both.
like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't
This is the
I don't know
same way.
what kind of eyes to watch this movie with.
This is the same way I felt about Adam Driver's other movie that took forever to produce. The
Oh, the man who killed Don Quixote.
Man Killed Don Quixote. Yeah.
I love that movie.
I know both of you guys did. Yeah, I didn't like it for the same reasons why you didn't like this one, and it was because of I didn't like the mixture of grounding and surrealism. Even though surrealism is meant to be both of those things, it crosses over back and forth. This one felt like it was more. I don't want to say harmonious. It was easier for me to understand the surrealistic nature of it, as opposed to that movie, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I never felt it. I never felt like I understood what was going on. But I don't have a very high IQ.
To be fair,
Yeah,
the scene
I was in special ed.
the scene in the Coliseum when she has her music number,
Yeah.
I'm lost, right? I'm like, okay, this is just pushing me. But then I fully realized how much fun this movie was going to be when they did the whole exposing Caesar as sleeping with a minor, and how they expose him on the Jumbotron. The Jumbotron plays their sex tape. And I'm like, this is a wild point
Yeah,
to just throw
yeah.
out of nowhere. And then not too much later, they exonerate him.
Yeah, it
and
just
show
gets
that it
negated.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just outright exonerate him because they faked it. And it wasn't that much longer after it. And I'm like, that was an insane plot point to
Yeah.
just tack into
And
the
there
middle
were
of
a
this
bunch
movie.
of those.
That
That
didn't
was-
really
there
do
was
a lot of it,
anything.
yeah.
That was
there were-
Caesar getting shot in the head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He gets shot right
wow,
in the face.
I completely even forgot about that.
He literally gets shot in the head and
Walks
then
it off.
gets better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and,
walks it
and then
off, yeah.
that's it. Like it doesn't do any. It doesn't change
Right.
anything.
So that's what I meant by it feels like a play, because I feel like I've seen plays like this where they just have lots of things that happen and that I never tie any of it together. It's
Yeah.
just a lot. It's
That's why
an epic-
plays suck.
I don't like plays for that
We
reason.
should watch.
honestly.
Yeah, that's why we do the talkies. Movies are better.
For-
Movies are better than
Okay,
plays.
I'm going on a little rant here.
do it.
Uh-oh.
Ready?
Yeah,
You ready
rant,
for this?
Rant
No.
my
You're not ready
ass
for this?
off.
No.
Too bad.
Rant me good.
So this is what's happening, right? This is what's happening.
'Kay.
When you watch a play, much like cinematography, right? The cinematography, you have a point of view in the movie, right? Of your point of view in the world. When you're watching a play, you only have one point of view, and so everything has to play to that point of view. And to me, that's really, really not intimate. And when I say intimate, I mean really close to the character, understanding their cues with their faces, with their movements, subtleties, and stuff like that. When it comes to plays, you can't use subtlety ever because you have a massive audience and you need
Right.
to play to everybody. So everything needs to be very obvious.
Yeah, more obvious, more simple,
Yeah.
bigger movements,
Absolutely.
more dramatic.
Yeah. And so because of that non-intimate type of stuff, when you need to take a play and put it into a movie and pretend that it is intimate now, like you have to put more intimacy into the scenes, it feels fake because the plot points and the movements and the actions and the events are still really oversimplistic. And unless the director knows exactly how they're going to interpret these events, everything still feels fake and it still feels like it's supposed to be not intimate in this intimate world. So to me, that's how this whole movie felt. It was not intimate at all, but I felt like it was on purpose. So
I agree.
when it comes to those musical numbers, or when it comes to those stupid ass effects, it feels like it was on purpose, even though it may not have been. I think it fit the aesthetic of the movie.
I agree. And I think more things than not are on purpose in this movie.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a lot of accidents happening.
right.
Doesn't sound like he has any excuse for it not to be on purpose.
Yeah.
He was in charge of everything.
Every single thing, yeah.
Every single thing. Yeah, that's true.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the intimacy thing.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the real difference between this and a movie like Don Quixote, right? Is we did get a lot closer to Adam Driver's character in
Totally.
in that film.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
You get to understand him as a person with motivations,
100%.
and passions.
That's why I say he's archetypal in here. Like everyone. And the only reason why that Aubrey Plaza, I think, stood out is because she played to it, and she was over dramatic in her stuff. And the reason why Lawrence Fishburne didn't is because he was under dramatic, because he's an actor. He's a film actor, and Aubrey Plaza just plays into it, and he doesn't.
I didn't really know what Caesar wanted.
Right.
Other than
Right.
he's obsessed with Megalopolis.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
then what?
That's what I'm saying about like some of the like it didn't feel intimate or anything like that. But the plot points I didn't even understand. I didn't understand the story at all. It felt like it was, like you said, a pontification on points. And here's these characters that go through the events, but I don't know what any of them want at any point.
I thought it was funny how the big futuristic city, the megalopolis, that when it finally comes to fruition, that the main what's the word for the opposite of a dystopian?
A utopia?
Yeah, a utopia. The big utopia was that we have moving sidewalks.
I know.
And little rolly ball
and
things.
we roll around in pinballs.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
was like the most just a surface level.
I'm like,
yeah.
great.
and
now I don't have to
everything-
walk.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved that.
What a utopia.
I loved that though.
We got that on the airport.
Yeah.
Oh, the utopia of the airport.
It did honestly feel like an airport.
Well, that's another thing. Like, just theme really is what bothered me in the film, because the movie ends with this like very direct statement that's like, believing in the utopia will pay off in the end, right? It's like, we didn't give up, and now we've done it.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself, and magic happens. Here's a baby, right? Right. That's, but the whole movie up to that point was basically saying like, I don't know, obsession leads to you destroying yourself over time.
Yeah, no, a lot of different stuff.
And they
conflicting
never-
things.
They never define what a utopia is.
Well, and here, so here, that's the great message that they end the movie on. And I know nothing about Megalopolis.
Yeah.
Right.
I know nothing about what he made.
Right.
And
He
why
made walking sidewalks.
why it
Moving
matters.
sidewalks.
You know, it's like are all those angry people like taken care of now and like happy and I don't know.
They were executed.
They were fed into the
Megalon?
The Megalon.
Yeah, that's what they make it out of,
along
yeah.
with his dead ex-wife.
Megalon is people.
Megalon is people.
People literally not built on the backs of the poor, built out of the poor.
Ah, that'll
Yeah.
solve the problem.
Yeah.
That would be a far more interesting story.
Less mouths to feed. Yeah.
If I had to re-examine my my hot take on the movie,
Eh?
I feel like I feel like I didn't like it because it didn't have a story, but I feel like that's the wrong reason to not like it. So
Yeah, because
I don't know.
I don't think it had a story, but I don't really have too much of an issue with that.
Right.
Well,
right,
we've seen
right.
movies we like that have barely any story.
Bo was afraid.
Sure.
There's a few movies that came to mind
Yeah.
after watching this.
Bo is Afraid
One
is one
was
of
Bo is Afraid.
Yeah.
They're not super similar, but they are. at the
Completely.
same
No,
time.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
There's actually a lot in common with this film and his Dracula movie.
Yeah.
The Bram Stoker
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Which I have not seen.
It stands out in his filmography because he does exactly what he does to extravagance in this movie.
Yeah.
Which is he's playing and he's bringing in weird practical effects and some like over the top stagey things mixed in with very dramatic things, and some of it feels almost like dark Jim Henson, and some of it feels very
Dark Jim Henson.
yeah, and some of it feels Godfather. You know,
Nice.
it's like really it's really something. It's a different movie. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of movies like that one. And he was playing, you know,
Yeah.
you could tell he was playing and having fun. And this was just like, I don't know, unrestrained playing.
Unrestrained is the right word. Yeah. I was thinking, sorry, did we cut you off?
I just want to say the three movies this movie
Yeah.
reminded me of.
Yeah. Complete
One was
your thought.
Bo is Afraid, Zardoz.
All right. Not
And-
wrong.
And The Room.
The Room. Oh
Yeah.
my god, dude. I actually saw a lot of comparisons to The Room, and there was a headline actually that said that Coppola goes full. Who's the other dude? The other Room guy, who makes complete shit movies.
Neil Breen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
goes complete Neil Breen, and I was like, that's a bit harsh.
No, it's more Tommy Wiseau than Neil Breen.
Yeah.
Because Tommy had so much heart behind
that's the
The
thing.
Room.
Yeah, no, there was.
And that's the same vibe that Coppola
Yeah,
has.
I feel like there's a lot of heart in this. Yeah,
I never
sincerity is
wanted
what I
to
hear.
stop watching.
Yeah,
Not
no,
once.
yeah, no, I got bored.
still want to watch it again, frankly.
Yeah.
I got bored several times, but each time was like kind of like how I felt bored in The Irishman, where I'm just like, oh man, I can feel this now, but I want to see what happens. Like there was never a time that I wanted to walk out of the theater.
I think 2 people did walk out of the theater
There was
when we saw
4.
it. 4 people left
Yeah.
in our showing.
Yeah.
I noticed 2.
That's about half of
that
the-
was half the
Yeah, that was
attendance.
yeah.
I mean, there couldn't have been more than 10 people
But
in the room.
if someone's coming in here to see a sci-fi epic, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Did
know?
someone call it that?
That's what this is known as. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It's
Ooh.
yeah. I don't know why it's sci-fi. There's nothing
Claiming
about this
that
that's
should be
sci-fi.
illegal.
It's hard
That's
to
like,
even
that's malpractice.
this.
You cannot call this a sci-fi epic.
Yeah.
It sidesteps genre entirely.
No, completely.
If I
yeah.
had to pin it down, I would say it's political satire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's the closest.
That's what
Yeah.
he calls it. I think he calls it a Roman epic. Something about politics in there. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely not sci-fi.
No,
No.
No, not at all.
especially since the only sci-fi element, the megalopolis,
Yeah.
oh, and I guess using that shit on his face to heal his gunshot,
Yeah.
is not explained. Barely plays a role in the movie.
There's almost none of it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. I didn't actually even understand the whole Megalon.
It piqued my interest when they first started talking about it at the beginning. I was like, "Oh, tell me more about
Yeah.
this stuff.
Right.
This is cool."
Right.
And then it's
No. Yeah.
we don't
it's,
talk about that.
It's funny. It's a character study without like actual study.
Yeah,
No, it's a character study of Aubrey Plaza's character.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to
there
see
was
like
no characters studying anything.
let's do a spin-off of Aubrey Plaza's character in here. Just give her a movie.
I'm telling you, we could cut a 40-minute movie that's about her. It'd be like a tragedy, you know? It's like her trying to claw her way to the top
where she gets shot.
and ends up getting
What do you
shot.
think of my boner?
Gets shot with a. I mean, she must have had sex with him by now.
Dude,
no one's suspect about the 18-inch boner under. It's like, damn, pops.
That scene was so funny.
It was really funny.
Yeah,
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's from a different movie.
it is.
Oh yeah.
Just like that random line where Adam Driver is talking to Natalie Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
Oh, in the little breakfast nook area.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Adam Driver's like talking down to her,
Right.
being like kind of sexist towards her, and then he's like, "Go back to the club."
Right.
He does this whole like head bob and like
yeah.
with the sass.
With the sass,
I was
too.
like, that like was a slap to like that woke me up. I was like, what? Did that just happen? Do my eyes deceive me?
Yeah, completely out of the movie. Yeah, there were some parts in here that were just absurdly comedic in a weird way.
Back to the club.
But the club.
What'd you think of the manipulative sex scene with her and Shia LaBeouf's character?
It looked like Shia really enjoyed it.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Oh, another crazy line is when Aubrey is with Adam Driver and they're like having that scene together where they're being intimate and whatever. And what she's like, oh, was the exact line. To Adam Driver, she says, "You're being anal as hell, but I'm feeling oral as hell." I was like, that's a line in the movie? We just did that?
That, yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah. That's a lot of this movie, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what this, like, again, but that feeling that you're getting from those lines is the feeling that I got from like the what do they even call it? The big theater that they were in, the Coliseum.
Yeah.
The whole wedding.
It was
That
supposed to be
entire
the
sequence.
It was
Yeah.
supposed to be the MGM Grand. No. The one at Madison Square Gardens.
Yeah.
That's what it
That's
was.
right.
Yeah. It gave me those vibes of what the fuck.
I agree. I'm just pointing out the three
Yeah.
specific lines that the whole movie is like that.
Yeah.
That whole Coliseum sequence, the whole
It was
thing.
bonkers.
Yeah.
I was sitting there just like, like this is all at the same time. This is terrible.
Yeah.
This is miraculous.
Yeah.
Miraculous.
No, I thought so.
Yeah.
Like I was like this. I was like.
Spellbound.
I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
eating, but I'm going to keep eating it.
Yeah, like this is I don't know how you could be so amazing and terrible
Yeah.
at the same time.
I guess
I'm like,
that's what they meant by Neil Breen.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does, right? He puts together these movies that are just obscenely weird.
yeah.
He's
but
never that amazing, though.
No.
no, he's not. No, miraculous. I think is the right. I think
Yeah.
because I was spellbound like the entire time
Yeah.
watching this movie.
Yeah, but that sequence in the arena, the wedding
Yeah.
sequence,
Yeah.
was kind of the chaotic peak of the movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie got
Yeah.
smaller from that point
It,
on,
it did. Yeah.
and never returned to that level of energy.
Yeah. No, it felt like a lot of his interest, Coppola's interest, was in that sequence.
Yeah, I was gonna say that scene felt a lot like the Ride of the Valkyrie scene in Apocalypse Now.
It's funny, I'm thinking about the play nature of this whole thing and the opera nature of it, and I'm like, how weird. But then when I went back home and thought about it, I'm just like, The Godfather is kind of an opera, and so
Sure,
is
yeah.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I
I guess
think-
he's always had this in him.
Oh, totally.
I think you could verbatim, line for line, adapt The Godfather to the stage.
Yeah.
Pretty
Pretty well, yeah.
easily. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just the way that Coppola's remembered is not really in this style, but it's all over his other movies.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of always been something that he's had in him that's almost been suppressed in a way.
right. So now it's unhinged.
Yeah, because like I think there's a lot in common that this movie has with Apocalypse Now. I
Yeah.
think Apocalypse Now is an example of, I think Apocalypse Now and Megalopolis is the same method for creating a film. He used the exact same process, but Apocalypse Now happened to turn out 10 times better because when you make movies in that chaotic kind of way,
Yeah.
you're kind of leaving a lot up to chance.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, if you're going to get lucky with some things and
Yeah.
you're going to get very unlucky with other things.
But that's kind of what you want with art, though.
Oh, totally,
The art,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's you discover things in the making of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not how a studio movie works.
Not at all.
No.
It makes
Quite opposite.
it makes complete sense
You
that
need to
this
make-
was self-funded.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's
In the 70s, you could get away with
totally
making a movie like
yeah,
that.
THX 1138, right?
And Apocalypse Now.
THX numbers.
Yeah.
THX numbers.
THX 331.
One of my favorite, just about being the chaotic person that Coppola is, one of my favorite stories is how he came up with the intro to the movie. Do you know that
For
story?
which one?
For Apocalypse Now.
Yes.
Yeah,
I do. You have to tell it.
So they shot over 1 million feet of film, and they had it stored in this storehouse. That was just an insane amount, of feet to go through.
Yeah.
So the people are going through it, and Coppola comes in and says, "Hey, is that sequence ready yet?" The intro, and the guy's like, "We haven't even gotten through, a part of all this." And Coppola goes, "It's fine." And he goes over to like a whatever they keep the film in, grabs a reel and puts it in. He's like, "What are these explosions here? Use that and that. There you go." And I'm just like, that chaotic feeling that you're talking about, I think absolutely does work for that kind of movie.
Yeah.
Cannot work for this kind of movie.
I agree.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is just thinking about what we just saw, and then realizing that this is the same guy who was so trusted by Hollywood
Yeah.
that they just kind of bankrolled things for him when in the early days of American Zoetrope. they were just kind of given handfuls of money to go make their ideas, and almost lost it all because they trusted George Lucas.
I was gonna say the George
Ironically.
story, right?
Yeah, and over the THX film.
Right.
When the studio that was funding finally saw a cut of THX, they were so mortified, and it's just funny that Coppola was the one who is like
Right.
The responsible
reliable, grounded, responsible.
That's funny.
And George Lucas was the radical, crazy
Wow. Yeah. Now
guy.
it's completely opposite. That's hilarious. Yeah. George Lucas is about as studio as you can get now.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
that's funny.
it's a thing he's made jokes about a lot. That like Darth Vader, you eventually become the thing you try to destroy.
Yeah.
you know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Coppola has had a hard time making movies ever since the 80s.
Well, and you know what? Speaking of Lucas, what's really funny and kind of cool about what he's done here with Megalopolis is that George Lucas has been saying for fucking ever that, I just can't wait that I can, put Star Wars behind me and I can finally go make the artistic films that I really want to make. I have all these artistic movie ideas that no one will want to see, and I just want to go make the. He hasn't done any of them. Where are they, George?
Yeah, and he's got more money than Coppola.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
85-year-old wine mogul just does it. It was, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Though George didn't he say he was going to do it in private though?
Oh, maybe he is making them. He's just
funny.
showing them to his buddies.
Just his
Yeah.
buddies.
But like, what's the point of that though?
I guess, just the fun of making.
For the fun
I
of doing it,
guess.
Well, you don't make art for people.
I don't think he's making them.
You make art
I
for
don't think he is. Yeah.
You don't think he's making
No, I think he's tired.
Oh, that's sad.
I envision George Lucas like Eeyore.
Like Eeyore.
Yeah.
That is really sad.
Oh my god.
He's been spending a lot of his time making like art museums, and that's been his thing.
It's pretty cool.
Art museums.
Yeah. He made one. He made a comic book art museum, a museum of comic art, and he made a museum of Norman Rockwell, all of Norman Rockwell.
Oh wow.
Him and Spielberg have the largest collection, to them combined, of original Norman Rockwell paintings, and they made a museum. I think there's a third one too that he's opened since then.
All right.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about George Lucas.
You know who should have made this movie? The Russo brothers.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I hate them.
There's time
despise
control
them.
in this.
Feige should have been a Feige.
Feige should have been.
I
Feige.
the
respect.
Feige effect.
I respect Feige, but I hate the Russo brothers.
You know
with
what
a
sucks?
passion.
They're making the Electric State, which is. So I've never read the Electric State, but I love the freaking artist behind it, Stellenhag. That's his name, Simon Stellenhag.
All right.
You guys don't know him?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know any.
He's an internet person.
Don't know what you're
okay.
talking about.
Anyway, let's continue about Megalopolis.
I'm looking forward to the Megalopolis cinematic universe.
Me too.
I'm
Me too.
first in line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that post-credit scene.
Yeah, I want to see a Caesar Catalina. What do you call it?
A prequel.
Prequel.
Origin film. The
Yeah,
Furiosa of Megalopolis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we'll learn how he invented the Megalon.
But how he got his time powers? Yeah.
Stop time.
Stop time.
Time stop.
Time stop. You know what I actually liked about his powers was that he had to say he had to address it like
He
it
had
was a
to
person.
address time as a person.
Yeah, he was like time stop, but there was also time something else.
So time was
Oh
like
yeah, he had a full phrase
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
time is like Alexa.
Right. Hey,
Alexa, stop.
Yeah. Like in some ways, movies like this, I love because I'll talk about it for like the rest of my life. Like I really
Yeah.
will.
I won't forget this movie.
Yeah,
at
no,
all.
we won't
Yeah.
forget it.
I'm thrilled that this movie exists.
Yeah.
And got a theatrical showing.
Absolutely, yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Super weird.
But at the same time, it is kind of a frustrating watch when you see so much cool. You can see the potential
Right.
coming back in over and over again. And you're like, I know what you're capable of now.
Yeah.
You just showed me something
Right.
that proves I should stay in my seat, and you're never going to deliver on it again. You know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, immediately when we walked out of the theater, I was like, there were flashes of brilliance. Mm-hmm. Just these flashes of like brilliant filmmaking.
Yeah.
Very brief.
Very brief.
Sprinkled
Do,
throughout.
do you have an example?
Oh yes, when he uses the irising effect.
Oh, yeah.
To focus in
The-
on things.
The 4 mil.
Yes, and with it just encroaches in on certain things.
Right.
To like when they're in the rafters near the beginning, and
Oh, yeah. That was
that
weird.
guy comes up, Gus Fring,
Gus Fring, yeah.
comes up
Gus
to Adam Driver or whatever, and
Giancarlo?
like leans into his ear, and then the frame, just the iris transition,
Yeah.
kind of focuses right in,
Yeah.
and it's kind of feels like an aside now, and like no one else is hearing this. It's just between these two people. I think that's a really creative, fun use of filmmaking that heightened that scene. And I think that's a choice that nobody else would make unless
Yeah.
you're a really experienced filmmaker.
Totally.
A flash of brilliance.
Totally.
I thought the sequence where they're riding through the ruins of the old part of the city, and with the weeping statues that are falling over.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant.
That
too.
drive is
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if that had a movie built around it that matched, that'd be something really special.
Yeah.
You know, like I see that and I'm like, oh God, I am so in for this. Give me more, give me more. Keep building on what I'm seeing right now.
Right.
And it doesn't.
My favorite dramatic sequence
Yeah.
for the story part would be when he and the mayor, when Caesar and Cicero are at the table and they're discussing something, and then Natalie brings up that she's pregnant
Oh, uh-huh.
and they say we're having a kid, and there was just this huge amount of tension between the two.
Yeah.
And Cicero doesn't even respond, just gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh fuck, right? Like those are genuine feelings that I was having right there, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, yeah.
That was nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did kind of wish there was.
Some feelings in this movie?
Well, I wish there was a reason to really care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
You know, I want to talk about bad movies, what people label as bad movies.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't call this a bad movie in the way that we always talk about bad movies.
I agree.
What's that?
I agree.
For example, Zack Snyder
God.
recently got our award for worst. What was it?
I don't
the
think
worst
we-
The content award.
Oh, yeah,
content
the
award.
content award.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he literally makes movies that are just the most production slop ever. It's just put it out there. It has a weak narrative. Just put it out there.
It's just so bad that I'm not even comfortable calling it a movie. We just call it content.
Exactly. Exactly. And so because of that, that is not the spirit of movie making.
Right.
Right. And this is.
Yes.
This is so much the spirit of movie making. So it
Yes.
might not be a good enough time at the theater or whatever, but like we said before, I'm not going to forget this anytime soon.
It's a genuine work of art.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it feels like art, and that's what I like about it. And when people say it's a bad movie, I don't like that they have this objective marker where good movies are.
Uh-huh.
And it's like,
Fresh tomato, rotten tomato.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That movie like sidesteps all of it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's just like you said, it's genuinely art. It exists by itself.
If a tomato rating is sufficient to tell you what you need about a movie, then that's not a very interesting movie. Like it has to be a very simple movie.
If that's
Right.
the only thing you need, sure.
Right,
Yeah.
like Marvel movies, right?
Right. Marvel
Yeah.
movies.
And when we were doing our show Short Film Roundup back in the day,
Yeah.
we had a time where we were reviewing films by category, right? And so we go like cinematography, you know, acting, directing. And so we had to come up with a really good definition of what it meant to to see
right.
that a film was directed well.
Right. And we came
You know?
up with one, yeah.
Yeah, how do you quantify this was directed well?
Right, right.
And basically what we came down to is that you can tell that what's on the screen was intended,
Yeah.
right? That the film ended up being the outcome that was desired from the design.
Right.
You know,
Right.
nothing happened by accident.
Yeah. It's
And this is absolutely that.
it's what we said with Beau is Afraid, because Beau is Afraid is also a weird and not that great of a
No.
experience.
No.
But it's a great piece to watch and experience. I just
Yeah.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I would not recommend Beau is Afraid to
Right.
a lot of people.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of
But
people that would not.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't recommend Megalopolis.
And
to
neither would
almost
I, right.
Anybody.
Yeah. And yet it is a good movie.
Yeah.
It is a good movie in that sense.
Yeah.
It's also a failure in other sense.
Yeah. So when I went into Megalopolis, I kind of knew it was going to be a train wreck on a certain level, but in the back of my head, I was hoping that I'd be like, maybe what if?
Oof. No, that's bad.
In the back of my head, I'm like,
Shouldn't have
what if? What if it is better? Like, what if it is cohesive and
Yeah.
what if it is as good as Apocalypse Now? Or so like that's what
Yeah.
in the back of my head, I wasn't expecting it, but I was hoping for it. So I was surprised that it wasn't as bad as what I thought it might have been, but it also wasn't nearly as good as I hoped it had been.
Totally.
It was somewhere in between
Yeah.
and all over the place.
So what we're saying is this is a 3 out of 5 movie.
No.
What we're saying is that it's 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
This movie is in a super state. It's in a superposition.
Superposition is
Yeah.
a quantum movie.
It's
Yeah.
a quantum movie.
Yeah.
It is simultaneously amazing and terrible
And you started off that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
at
You
the
need
same time.
you need a graph with like 8 axes to plot. Yeah, to plot where this movie is.
8 axes. That's like
Yeah.
a 5-dimensional plane or some shit.
I really respect this movie.
Yeah, I'd say I
respect
respect it. Yeah.
So
And
here
I will take it over any Marvel movie.
100%.
yeah.
100%. Yeah.
What a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, that was stupid.
You idiot.
Yeah, you're stupid.
Yeah, you stupid. Oh, you stupid.
So
Anyway, no.
So
I have
No.
something.
so
No.
I had
so,
I had a question.
No.
So
Here's what I want to know. If so the story behind this movie that makes it so interesting is the whole thing of Coppola made the choice that he was going to make a film that was non-compromised in any way.
Yeah.
That meant
Yeah.
he funds it himself. He doesn't change anything to appease a distributor. He pays for the marketing himself, right? Uncompromised, get what we get, okay? If he had chosen otherwise, right? And said, I'm going to do this the traditional Hollywood way, and that means producers come in, and you're going to have some people say, like, that's
would have been a better movie.
maybe not the best choice here. Let's do this and that. Because that does have real value. And we've seen
Yeah.
this over and over again where a filmmaker is like brilliant, and gets to the point where the studios go like, hey, blank check, man, do whatever you want.
Right.
And you can get away with anything because you got the name now.
Right.
And all of a sudden their shit sucks,
Yeah.
right? It just sucks. They go downhill, they tank. And so some having that kind of like creative leash also hones in a more honed in
Well-
collaborative effort.
Yeah.
So the question is, what do you think would have given us? What do you think gives you the better movie?
For my money, honestly, I think what we got is the best version of this movie.
That's an interesting question.
I think it would have been a more commercial movie. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the aim with
Sure.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing, is to make it more viable commercially. And that's not always a bad thing, but I think it's a better movie as is, because there is, if you want a more focused experience, you can find it anywhere.
Yeah.
there's not enough movies
That's true.
like this.
That's absolutely true.
That's
No.
that's a great take.
But you're totally right though, because Alien
I was gonna say Alien.
was studio meddled for the better. Like
Yeah.
that
Sure.
made the movie way better.
Right.
Because of studio collaboration.
Right.
Right. And it's a question that plays a tug of war constantly in my brain because of wanting to be the expressive filmmaker that it's like, I'm going to put, like, I just had this idea and I need to put it in front of a camera.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you think. Right.
Right.
This just has to come out of me.
Right.
And the awareness of the necessity of real collaboration and the value of sometimes being told no, right?
Right.
When
Sure.
you're trying to create, sometimes that's like a really, really important part of the filmmaking process.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. I think it would have made a lot more sense, but it would have been a more forgettable movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that makes it better, but yeah.
I think my biggest takeaway from this movie is I think every legendary filmmaker towards the end of their life and career should do this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like I would love if like Steven Spielberg, like made it just a completely non
Right.
audience focused movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I guess what we're talking about here is that we like art so much.
Yeah.
In this, and we don't see it enough in the movie industry. So,
Yeah.
And not as unrestrained as this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And like the way I hope Coppola thinks about this movie money wise, like he tried, to get people to pay for marketing or whatever, make the effort to save some money, it didn't work for him. But I hope he thinks of it as, instead of investing all this money to get back from a movie, he thinks of it as, okay, for $120 million, I have purchased this movie.
Yeah.
And now it's mine.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
own it. And it's done, and it is what it is, and I have it now. It's a purchase, not an investment.
Totally. That's
Sure.
that's a good. I like that.
Yeah.
Because he's made $5 million this weekend on it.
Yeah.
That's the box office this weekend
Oh,
for
no.
Megalopolis.
Hey, I've never made $5 million off of any of my movies, so
Yeah.
No.
But I'll bet you if you had 120 million.
Yeah, I don't think you've,
Of course, I've never-
you ever spent $120 million on a movie
Yeah.
either.
my biggest budget was $120,000.
That's a,
Did
that's
you
a
make
lot
more
less.
than $5,000 on it?
Yeah.
All right, then you're doing
Then you
better
did
than
it.
Coppola.
Yeah.
You beat Coppola. Pizza
What?
time.
Oh.
Fuck. Fuck.
This is actually a really easy one for me.
Oh,
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
about
I've been-
to say this is going to be hard.
For the first time almost ever, I've been thinking about the pizza rating ahead of time.
You've been stressing out.
I've been
Speaking
dreading
of
it.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh my
I still I don't
god.
have one. I've been thinking about it all day.
Oh,
This-
should we explain our little tradition
Sure.
For-
if you must.
for new people?
New people.
For the newbies.
For the newbies.
Yeah. So here on the Talkies, what we do.
Do you talk like this all the time?
Yeah, sorry, I slipped into.
Who are you talking to?
I slipped into my off-camera voice for a second there. Let me.
yeah,
Now I'm back
bring
in
it
my
back.
Talkies
Yeah.
There we go.
uh,
No
one wants to
character.
hear that. Thank
Sorry.
you.
Hi, hey, I'm Kenny. And on the Talkies, what we do is, instead of giving some kind of arbitrary rating or score of a movie, which we've already talked about, cannot satisfactorily do for
We've
this film.
reinvented the rating system.
We've reinvented. We have something
We've made
far
our
better.
own arbitrary system.
It's not, it's not arbitrary. It's demanded by logic.
Oh, okay.
by
Yes,
logic.
yes.
This is the only way to do things.
Yeah, we came up with this by math. All right, we had an equation, and this came out. And
That's
it's the
right.
pizza rating. Okay, so instead of giving the movie a score, we're going to compare it to a fictional pizza or a real pizza, and D will go first.
Right, as one would logically deduce, right?
Yeah,
So,
because the nuance.
right, exact, because the nuance.
'Cause the nuance.
So this is how you would eat this movie, right? You go into a pizza place.
Yeah.
Serves the best pizza you've ever had. You go into this place and you feel like, you know what? I've already had the really, really good pizza. I'm gonna order something new this time. So you sit down, get a menu, and you're like, that's what I want. I want the. You can't really make out what it says, but I'll have that, right? And so the chef makes it. He comes over and he's so proud of it, and he puts it down in front of you. It's this pan with something on it, and then he walks away. And he walks away, and you're staring at pasta, but it's in the circle shape, and it has something red that's on it. Might be sauce, so I'm not sure. There's cheese on it, but it's pasta. It's definitely not pizza. This is pasta. But it's cut into like slices and stuff. So you're supposed to, I'm not sure how exactly, but I think you're supposed to eat the pizza with a giant spoon to get it, to make it look like it's a slice. It's not actually a slice, but you get it to make it look like it's a slice and then try to eat it that way.
This came to you easily?
Yeah. This is exactly what I thought of. This is logic.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, that's this movie.
Wait. So then, does it taste good?
But is it good?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure if it tastes good, but it's an experience. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, you go.
I'll try. I'll just make it up.
That's not what I did.
Right,
Mine
'cause
was mathematical.
It came to you instantly after watching the movie.
Yeah. Right after I got on my seat, I was like, "That's
I know
it.
the pizza. It's a pasta pizza
Pasta
you eat
circle.
with a spoon.
Pasta circle."
A giant spoon. Okay.
All right, you go to.
It's pretty good, actually. It fits.
Megalopolis is the pizza that you get when you go to your local pizzeria. They have a brick oven,
Yum.
a wood fire brick oven.
Love it.
They have all high quality ingredients, and you look on the menu and you're like, what is that? The acorn pizza? That's strange. I'm gonna try it, and then out comes
Sounds healthy.
whole acorns on the pizza.
Does not sound
It's-
healthy. Take it back.
It looks pretty interesting. Like I've never seen that on a pizza before.
There's whole acorn.
And there's just the regular cheese. The crust is really well made, good crust. Pesto sauce, no marinara.
No marinara.
Pesto, and then on another half is vodka sauce. So it's half pesto, half
pesto and
vodka
half-
sauce.
Okay.
There's
Half
acorns,
That
sounds really good, actually.
roasted acorns, pistachios,
Pistachios. That's a nutty pizza.
like one pepperoni.
Just
And
one.
you eat it, and I'm like, this is kind of weird. It looks cool. I pick around the acorns, just
Oh, you don't even eat.
don't
the
even eat
acorns.
them.
Wow.
Just brush them off.
Wow. I think
And-
that's kind of disrespectful.
And I kind of finished half of it, and I'm like, that was weird. I don't know.
That's pretty good.
This movie stumped me, guys.
Yeah?
I had nothing. I feel like this movie subverts pizza rating.
Not
Yours was
true.
great.
No.
Nothing.
Yours is going to be good.
I know.
Mine's. This was a poor performance from me, guys.
Hey,
I'm spiraling right now.
I am down with the acorn pizza. 100%.
I'm not. I'm
Why?
embarrassed
Yeah.
for you.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Maybe my pizza rating was perfect
Exactly.
because I was just doing what Coppola was doing.
Oh,
Making it up as I
he was
go
making
along.
he was making
Look
a
what you
studio
did.
a studio-less pizza. is what
Yeah,
that was.
no
Yeah.
funding.
Yeah.
And
I
you-
spent $120 million
Yeah.
to make that pizza rating.
And usually we're like have so much oversight
Right,
over
we
your
have a lot of
pizza.
oversight,
yeah,
We're like
right.
yeah,
controlling
always
you.
controlling it.
Yeah,
You always
makes
give me
sense.
those notes beforehand.
Yeah, we do.
And
yeah.
after.
And
And
after
afterwards,
what I
right.
did wrong.
Right.
Those are very
Right.
long.
Yeah,
Very long.
Very long. Yeah.
I'm still giving you notes.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. All right. So mine. All right. Ready? Okay. So there's a Silicon Valley startup company, right? And everyone's talking about these guys like they might be like Nobel Prize winners because of their creation, and that is they've figured out how to use cultivated fungus to grow other kinds of food. Like they're going to cure world hunger. They've
using fungus.
yes, using fungus, and so they're
It
able
sounds
to.
like the beginning of The Last of Us.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm going to get there.
Oh, sure.
I'm getting
Oh,
there.
sure. That makes sense.
So there's an apocalypse.
All right.
And they're like funded by like Leonardo DiCaprio, and so they've got like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Gotcha.
And all this hype, right? And the way they want to get their technology into the public sphere is by having something that's very graspable by the people. Pizza joint.
That's very graspable.
We're gonna build some pizza places where we're going to finally share our awesome technology with the world, and you can come and buy a pizza we grew, right? And you'll be amazed. And so of course it opens up, and you want to go see it, and so you go down there. You want to be the first to buy this organically grown pizza. Like, it's a miracle. It's really amazing, and you get it and you eat it, and it actually tastes really good and really interesting, but it's nothing like pizza. It's like nothing like actual pizza, all right? And it is good and it is interesting.
Yeah.
When you want pizza, you probably won't go to this place,
Okay.
right? But it was fascinating. It was a fascinating experience.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And
It was the best way for these people to show their technology to others.
that's basically that. They were like, let's show off as a pizza. And it wasn't a very good pizza, but it was good,
Okay.
and it was cool and very expensive
Very expensive.
and interesting, and that's it.
That's tremendous.
Yeah. And Leonardo DiCaprio did not get any of his money back.
Oh, we didn't?
Yeah, because people started getting stomach aches, and so the whole thing just fell apart. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just fell apart. They went bankrupt.
Wow.
And now
Bankrupt.
they
People were killed.
yeah,
Were killed.
yeah. And then an apocalypse happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, people
Like
turned
now?
into people turned into mushrooms.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah,
Tie in with the video game.
and they walked around and clicked.
Wow. Clickers.
Clickers.
Okay. Okay. And then what?
What if Megalopolis takes place after The Last of Us?
Oh, that makes sense.
Like The Last
I'm
of
signed
Us,
on.
like they finished the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And
You
they
know-
start rebuilding, and that's Megalopolis.
What if Craig Mazin wrote
Megalopolis.
Borderlands?
What if we all had arms growing out of our asses?
That doesn't make any sense, Kenny.
That's weird.
That's really strange.
Why'd you
What the
say
fuck
that?
is wrong with you?
The Takis.
Is this the freeze frame period?
Yeah.
That's a funny way to end.
Hey, you've been listening, watching,
Again,
participating.
I don't know who you're
Why are
talking
you
to.
doing
What
that?
is he doing?
They're over
Why are
there.
you
dude.
talking
They're
like
right
that?
there.
What are you
Hey, hey, I see you, man. I see you. And you've been watching The Talkies from Carmen Lion Studios, where filmmakers talk about movies. And, see you next time.
See you next time.
Say it. Say it, Taylor.
Or these notes, Taylor.
Fucking
These notes.
say it. Say your line.
See you next time.
Thank
Thank
you.
God.
Thank you.